Thank you for staying with us. After a rigorous electoral exercise across the country, where 28 states held their governorship election and 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, held their state assembly elections, winners have emerged. But 2 states, which includes Abia and Enugu, have yet to produce a governor-elect because the INEC officials have suspended their collation due to violence, alleged rigging, and the non-use of beavers machines in some polling units. The chairman of Voter Education Committee of the Commission, Festus Okoye, said a review of the election in both southeastern states will be done before collation resumes and the winner is announced. Well, joining us in the studio to analyze this issue is a public affairs analyst, Muyiwa Ogunlaja. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to our dear listeners.
Great.
All right. We know you monitored the whole process.
Yeah.
Let's even begin from there before we delve into what's happening in Abia and Enugu.
Yeah.
What's your perception of how the election went across the 28 states?
Thank you. This year's election I would see as a watershed election, a remarkable departure from the past. In the past, personalities and political parties determined who eventually emerges as the winner. To the extent that people had the belief that put a dog down somewhere, that dog, because that dog belongs to that party, will win that place. I'm talking metaphorically.
Yeah.
But the last election has shown that that's no longer the case. Especially when you look at what happened during the presidential election and what happened during the recently concluded gubernatorial elections. You will see a movement, a drift from political party affiliation to individual politicians and the trust the electorate have in those politicians. A situation where you see people either too unknown, but because of the fact that they have helped their society, they have helped their immediate environment, the local people are no longer ready to leave them alone, irrespective of their parties, and they cast their votes for them. Nobody will believe that what happened in Kano will happen. When people believe that Kano was like that during the presidential election because of Kwankwanso, they believe that when it comes to the gubernatorial election, nobody can unseat Gadiji. It happened. Nobody equally believe that someone like Nnamani will not win the central election.
Right.
Nobody will believe that those 20-year boys and that girl will unseat a old speaker of the House for Assembly. Nobody will believe that. So people are moving towards the persons, the personalities, and not the political party again. And perhaps one of the mistakes made in Lagos by Labour Party, they forgot, they never knew that it should not be the party that will determine, but the personality that the party presents. So that's the remarkable difference. The second one is the youthful tsunami we have had. We have had a tsunami that, and the older generations of politicians have already been shown a yellow card by these younger ones. That is the first yellow card. When the second yellow card comes, it will be red. And that will be the end. And that will be the end. So it is a clarion call to them to sit up. Meanwhile, you are there, go and perform. We want to see what you have done. What is the essence of you saying that you are representing me? And the moment you have emerged victorious, you will move from your place to VCG. You move to Abuja. Nobody will see you. Your constituent service will be locked up. Only old drums will be there. Nobody will see for the next 4 years. And about 2 months to the election, you are now back. Come on and do what? So that those days are gone now. People are now ready to perform. If you are not ready to perform, they will vote you out. And the younger ones are there to take charge.
Over.
The only difference I have observed is that the younger ones are not ready to go to what I call tutelage.
Really? How so?
Yes, I will let you know. There is nobody who does not need mentoring. You need to be mentored. There should be your mentor. And you as a mentee must learn from your mentor. I'll give a good example. Look at the history of Lagos State. I'm talking about politicians. I'm talking about civilian governors, not military. With the first governor, Alhaji Lateef Jakande, before he became governor, he was an accomplice, he was a compatriot, he was a politician with Baba Obafemi Awolowo, good friend of Balage, the protagonist of the five fingers of a leprous hand. Another good friend of Baba Balage and co. He went through. He was even in prison with Obafemi Awolowo.
Okay.
He was in prison. He went through that tutelage. By the time he became the governor, he had been exposed. That experience there. When he left, another military president, another several governor that came was immediately Baba Otedola. Baba Otedola came, agreed, but this gentleman experienced in terms of business, the publisher of Compact Press, and equally had that Western region experience in politics. So when he came, he could make success out of it. After that, we immediately had Senator Bola Tinubu. Bola Tinubu was already a senator before he ventured into gubernatorial election. He had that experience, versatile in business, versatile in mobile industry, versatile in politics. He had that tutelage. He was tutored by Alhaji Daudu and co. in Lagos State then. Then he was very close to close to Chief MK Abiola during the Nadeco days. So he had garnered that experience. So ready to serve. Immediately after him, you have his immediate chief of staff, Fachola, who had served with him, who knew the nooks and crannies of government, who knew where the letter T's should be crossed and letter I's should be dotted. He was there. He had garnered the experience. After Fachola, we had that technocrat, double A, Ambody. He was not a politician, but he was in government. He knew the nitty-gritty of government. It was his superb coordination of Lagos economy that allowed Lagos to succeed when Basanjo refused to give them allocations. And he did that with Tinubu. Then you have Fashola. People never knew that Fashola was a two-term commissioner in Lagos State. Sanwo-Olu, thank you. A two-term commissioner in Lagos State. Apart from that, he was the group managing director of Lagos State Property Development Corporation in Lokpeju. Go to that LSDPC, see the way he transferred LSDPC. Again, he had garnered that experience. Now, he's represented. Now, look at our young ones who want to become governors now. Who are their mentors? What have they gone through? Which political school of thought did they go? Do you think I just come to politics and just grab it? Not even Lagos economy. No state can afford that. And that is why they need to be very careful. They must be ready to serve. They must go through that tutelage. I have not seen any newborn baby who will just walk without crawling. If I see one, I will run.
All right. I like the way you put it. But you see, they will also argue that the times have changed. Because in the narrative, you've taken us since 1980s up until now, those persons are a product of choice made by the supposed godfather or supposed leader who decides who comes in, who decides who become what, and all of that. All the youths we have now may not have that opportunity to be selected or to be the one to become either a commissioner or become a DG or become whatever, so that you can garner the needed experience before you become governor. So they are choosing their own path. What do you say to that?
You see, one of the reasons for the failure of Nigerian youth to have assumed their position of authority is the wrong impression, the larger-than-life attitude they are living. They always big castle in the air. They stare storm in teacups.
You dream big.
Yes.
Is that wrong?
But is anything wrong with that?
No. Get it right.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong in it. But when you become utopian, again, okay. When I was in school, I'm sure when you were in school too. When we left school, when I was asked the kind I would like to have, knowing my background and my money, I said a B2, which was about 1,005 then. Ask a boy from US now, which Oscar, he will tell you Bugatti. He will tell you Mercedes car. And knowing that his family cannot even afford a bicycle.
But he can work to afford it someday.
Listen, someday, that is the tutelage period.
Okay.
Someday, they are not ready for someday. As soon as I leave, I want to go to BGC. I must have a building in BGC. I must have a building in Banana Highland. When someone first left the university, our dream was to get a building around Korodu, where you can afford the rent. You see, that's the point. But we aspire for now. We are better off now. We aspired then, but we knew that it must go through. And that explains it. So until they are ready to serve, even I am a good Christian anyway. Even God himself was orderly. He did not just start creation by starting with man. He started with lesser objects. Lesser, and then now graduated to where them now create man in my being. That's it. So they should start it that way. Be gradual. Go through that tutelage. Be groomed.
But are we giving them the opportunity to go through this tutelage?
Very good. Are they ready to have that opportunity? I'll give you a good example. I know of one of them who at the beginning wanted to be the scribe, sketching of a party. And that was what he went in for. But the moment there was this, I can become the governor, they said, no longer the scribe, I want to be the governor. And my question is, how prepared are you? Do you think because you have succeeded in personal business, do you that to translate success in governance? Governance is huge. I must tell you the truth. It is huge. Governance is I don't know. It's like a heavyweight boxer. It's like someone who is in heavyweight division and one bantamweight now challenging him. It's that suicide. So the point I'm making is that they will get there, and they are getting there now. In about 10 years' time, let us follow the history of those young ones, all those 21 years plus that are going to the house now. In about 10 years' time, you will see one of them will be a governor of the state. That's the truth. But hey, they've started, and they will grow like that. That is it. Don't just want to jump at it. It's not done unless you want to commit political suicide. And that explains why most of them lost.
Okay.
Not that they are not good.
All right. Let's come to the crux of the discussion we're having now. INEC has suspended elections or the counting process in Abia and Enugu State. And the reasons for why this is done boil down to or touches the issue of violence. We saw the invasion of thugs into a collation center. We saw the issue of holding INEC officials to ransom and things like that in the 21st century. Nigerians had thought that we had those days of things like that had gone. What do you make of this?
You see, I want to blame government for this.
Why is that?
I will let you know. You see, in civil societies, when a crime is committed, that person is quickly brought to justice, and the entire world is informed, so as to serve as what? Deterrent.
Yeah.
God bless you. The question is this: how many of those people in the past have been brought to justice by government? And when if eventually that was done, did the government make this so public that people will know, and others will see that as deterrent? No. Number one, our information system is poor. They could have done something, but most people did not know. If I do, maybe because of the job I do, I must find out. If he knows, because it's in the media, how many of us have the media? So government must go out loud to ensuring that when we are caught, you are dealt with, and that is made known to everybody. That so caught, dealt with, and this is in prison now. This is stored here. This is stored here. And by the time that listen to that, even when you want to do it, your parents will call you. What do you are doing? No. You can't stay in prison. That was last year was stored here. He asked for 4 years to stay. You want to go and join? No way. That would be a deterrent. The government did not do that. That is number one. Number two, politics has been turned to another thing in Nigeria to the extent that people don't know the delineation between your official duty and political interests. As law enforcement agents, you are supposed to be unbiased. Unfortunately, some of them took side with parties, and this pandemonium occurred. That impasse that happened there could have been averted if law enforcement agents were actually seen as being objective, and that could be annoying to the other parties when they say that some people are being supported. Then the last one that will cause it is our religious leaders, especially our Pentecostal religious leaders. With their patience, most churches deserve to have their pupils which have been desecrated. They need to have them. How can I put it? Some people say that they must go and have them.
Did they incite people to violence?
No, yes. I have listened to preachers saying that if this does not happen, don't allow it. I want to.
No, there's no need for that.
So if this don't allow it, you must not allow that. Go all out. Go all out. They must not be there. They even place curses on children. They place curses on my own babies that are yet to be born. One of them said, if you do this, your babies unborn will not do this, will not do that. On the pulpit, that's desecration of the pulpit. And that kind of a thing. You have already prepared their minds. You know, some people are dogmatic. They will my pastor said, we should not allow this. It must not come in. We should do this. Or else, my children unborn will suffer. I don't want my children unborn to suffer. Let me go and fight it out. The mind. Religion is opium. Opium for the poor. So we must be very careful. So those religious leaders, and I'll see what they have done. All their pupils needs to be rededicated. They've desecrated it. And then God Almighty forgive all of us.
Although there are reports that it was not just the Pentecostals, that there were also those that...
Yes, even the
Orthodox churches.
But mostly, no, listen. I am a Christian. Right from the word go. I will support Christianity to the last. But I would say the truth. We Christians didn't do very well this time around because of the Muslim ticket, which could be annoying. I agree. It could be annoying. But you don't now go to the extent of placing courses on children unborn, all because I want to support a Muslim ticket.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, talking about the Muslim ticket, the point there is we often make reference to the United States. We make reference to the Western world where these things don't matter. And I wonder how long it would take for us to get used to the fact that whether it is Christian or Muslim, it doesn't matter. It's Nigeria.
God bless you. I agree with that. Okay, good example. Look at Britain now. The Prime Minister is from India.
Exactly.
Why do you stay here? Why should they not come here? No, I'm anywhere.
Even the mayor of London is a Muslim. So these are all tolerable phenomena.
If you go to Birmingham, 90% of them are Muslims in London, and they still coexist with Christians.
Right. Let's look at the other matter of how to address this matter of the use of beavers in the election, because one of the reasons why this election, the results or collation of results is suspended is because of the non-use of beavers, and then there were some machines in some polling units, and then there was also the matter of rigging, perhaps overvoting and all of that. We thought that the introduction of technology will address some of these things that is being mentioned now. I wonder what you make out of this whole matter still coming up, despite the introduction of technology.
Thank you. Any new technology, no matter how good, that you have innovated, and it's not properly put to test and use, will end up being a failure, as Beavers has done. Yes, I'll give a good example. You see, the idea of Beavers, according to INEC and as far as I'm concerned, is superb. Is to ensure that rigging is reduced, actually eliminated. Because the moment you are not accredited, if I say any ballot paper more than the number accredited, something must have happened. I agree with you. But the question is, did they put these Beavers on test run, adequate test run?
What would be adequate? Because they did
just only. No, wait, only 3 states now.
Yes.
Only 3 states. 3 states out of, okay. Look at the pressure on Beavers during just Osun, Ondo, and maybe Edo.
Yes.
Not at the same time, differently. Not the 3 elections don't come at the same time, mind you, differently. So at any point in time, only one state.
So that wasn't sufficient enough?
Only one state. How cool? What happened in only one state? Or second, third state, be sufficient to generalize what will happen in 36 states or the federation at the same time simultaneously? It's not possible. What they should have done is to conduct mock election.
They did at some point.
They did that in the hall. Say yes. They did that in the hall. Mock election all over the federation with incentives. And said, okay, come and participate in this mock election. As soon as you have done casting of a vote, you go back home with maybe some palliatives. Courtesy federal government. not courtesy political parties.
Okay.
I say federal government.
All right. We need to make that clear.
Courtesy federal government. What stop government from giving the citizens palliatives? Nothing.
But if
mock
elections,
that's what we've done.
Okay.
That's why we encourage everybody to go. I'm going to be a mock election, and they'll give me something. Let me go and do it there. In the process, they will see mistakes likely to be made. They will see that some beaver's machine will crumble after hours of use. They will see that all over the federation, there will be some problems that will be domesticated, that will be peculiar to particular area. All this will have been seen. Then they now go back to the drawing board and now match out all this. But they didn't do that. It's only 3 states.
Yes, but ideally, it looks good, ideally.
It does.
But in practical terms, in a situation where INEC budget was over 300 billion.
Yes.
You're saying mock elections.
Yes.
Was it budgeted for?
We have to budget maybe times 2
maybe
of 300
billion.
Because it's going to be the same thing you're doing in the election situation that's going to happen at the mock.
Yes.
Right. In a situation where Nigeria is saying we don't have all the money, we've had the Senate president say Nigeria is broke. We've had them borrowing monies. Minister of Finance looking for monies all over the place. Where are we going to have monies to fund a mock election?
You see, Nigeria, well, some of us will say the truth. Nigeria, we need to be very truthful. INEC cannot tell me that it was that amount that they gave today that they all spent on that election. Because this is Nigeria.
If it is not,
because this is Nigeria.
Are you part of the auditors? Are you part of those that audit INEC?
Well, you should soon listen to the report. This is Nigeria. That's number 1. Number 2, what about those stupid monies? Imagine someone, because he comes to a place to sit down and sleep for some time, at the end of the month, he gets 15 million, 25 million. Someone who will go to the house and go along with our 5 women and say, my colleagues, come and see my investments, and I have 5 new wives. And at the end of the month, 30 million given. Can't some money be raised out of those spendings?
Cutting the cost of governance, is that what you're talking about?
Or National Assembly members?
We are talking courtesy in Nigerians who want the best for the country.
Yeah.
Any Nigerian who wants the best for the country will not take 35 million naira and go home every month. When you know that the person near you cannot even get 3,500 naira per month.
Yeah, but this is an issue of the law now.
I agree.
As much as Nigerians say, okay, that amount of money is too much as the case may be, but it's an instrument of law now.
Which can be reviewed.
Yeah, but it takes time. It's going to take time. It's going to take time.
By the same people.
By the same people. Mind you.
Will they want to review it by the same people?
That's why I'm saying that Nigerians are funny. So what stops from being patriotic? There was a time when a particular governor was served without collecting money. He didn't collect salary.
I think Governor Yaradua, former late president, when he was governor of Katsina State.
He didn't collect money. Let us say that now. What stopped them from becoming another Yaradua and save this country this embarrassment? I'm telling you, my dear, if that had been done, all these mistakes should have been detected and a lot should have been corrected. It won't be totally foolproof, but what you now have will not be on this scale that you are now witnessing. So that's the truth.
Where do we go from here?
Yes. Where do we go?
I like that. We are Nigerians. You are talking.
The first one is rebirth. Rebirth of this nation. Everybody, right from the head to the goal, let us see Nigeria as a project that I must contribute to. I must not be selfish. Nigeria should be it's God's project and must be brought to fruition. Do you make that you have that rebirth in us? We want to do everything to give the country the best. That's number 1. Number 2, let government see governance as means of discharging dividends of democracy to the people. Nigerians are not demanding so much from government. Give Nigerians 24 hours electricity. Give them security. Then give them good roads. Don't give them employment. Nigerians will find jobs for themselves. And they will survive. And nothing will happen. They will survive.
If you could just quickly hold your thoughts.
I'll do.
We need to go for a commercial break. When
Please.
we return, we'll finish, we'll wrap up this conversation.
Okay.
To stay with us.